Geez, I hope I didn't start the stream yet. I think I'm early. A little early. A little bit. A little bit. Oh, that is good. Wipe my hand down here. Yay. What's up, Michael? What's up, Tactical? Christian? What's up, Drew? Papa Blue, BC Rich, Rico B, Danovan J. So it's easy when I get here earlier because it's not as busy. Thunder Falcon, Ian. These are the real fans, right? The guys who are here early. Vince, Coots, Jay Schaff. What's up, Quentin? I am early today, Steve. Thanks, Michael. It's hot rod red. Hot rod. What's up, Frank C? I've missed it too. That's why I have it out tonight. I was like, what am I going to play tonight? What's up, Ben? And double R guitar. Jeff Clark. Jeff E. Johnny Rock. Well, I think got everything now. He's got the amp, the shirt, and the pedals. You know how international shipping, you know how that goes. Sounds good? Good. I think it's the Clamilton. What's up, Jim Bean? What's up, James? What's up, Tonosaurus? What's up, John? Lady A? Cat Scratch Fever? Just a little scratch. It's fine. The one on that hand, that one I have to keep, clean and washing because it's on your palm. More likely to get infected. What's up, Possum Man? What's up, Jim Beam? What's up, Nelson? What's up, Tyler? Alex? Yeah, it is that time again. I know, that's what I was saying. That time again. Thanks, Cowtown. Thanks, Ian. That's what the headstock. No, it's one piece rosewood. That's why they have to put the skunk stripe, because with the one piece like a maple, you gotta put the truss rod in through the back. That's just a slab of rosewood. We went from entire necks made of rosewood to rosewood being on the sites list. I know I'm a little early. No, they're from sharp paw ends. That's what the scratches are from. Kitty had to go to the vet, and she was giving us a hard time and really squirming out of my wife's arms pretty easily. And then I finally got her, and I was able to get her in the cage, but she was scrambling like a bunny. Ah! I'm like, get in there, you. It's just a little shrapnel, I think there was another one. Yeah, over there. They have the claw. One of the things we did was had their claws trimmed. So she was ready. Those claws were long. Pretty scratchy. Yeah, this one's a nice one. It's got a good look to it, It's just that classic hot rod red, with the rosewood and the white. I thought about going mint green. I could see that going mint green and looking pretty sharp, but I'm leaving it white. That's stock. Leaving it stock for now. What's up, fret level? Juan Blanco, Gary Davlin, Radios, and Coots. You notice a difference in the tone with it being all Rosewood? Probably not. I think the bigger tone is that the fat 50s are a bright, they're kind of a scooped sound. And it has one of those no loads. So you got to be careful, because when you open the tone pot all the way up, it's a bypass. And that makes it really bright. But no, I don't think there's a big tone. It's a feel difference, though. It's somewhere in between, say, maple and the roasted maple. It's, it might be a bit more textured. It's, what I'm saying? You can almost see like a little bit more texture to it than what maple is. I feel like maple might be a little, right? You see that in the specular highlights? That it's got more of a grain to it. I think maple's a little smoother, but it's smooth. Trust me. It feels like wood. And we all know what that feels like, right? I mean, come on. Let's be honest. What's the difference between Hot Rod Red and Torino Red? I don't know. I want to say Torino Red. I really don't even know. I'd have to see them side by side. I want to say Torino is either a little lighter or a little more orangey. I'd have to take a look at them side by side. I feel like this is red, one of their reddest reds. Dakota Red would be darker, I think. Yeah, this is going to be lighter with the... And this is the special thin skin, right? So it's supposed to let the wood breathe. I feel like it's just a way to save on manufacturing costs. Just... What we did was, we did one less undercoat. We call it thin skin. Uh-huh. I think you're right. I think it is a walnut skunk stripe. That would make sense. Right there. I think that's what they normally use, right? Walnut. And it does have the walnut plug, too, actually. So, yeah, walnut. I think that is correct. Mine's Daphne Blue, whatever they call it. Yeah, they did a Daphne Blue. And I think they might have done a Sonic Blue. I forget now. Which was around the same time that this one came out. So I think this one and the Sonic Blue came out around the same time. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it was the Daphne Blue. They've made a few of them. Then they did the Sunburst. I'm trying to think of what other colors they've done. They did a rose. Was it a burgundy mist or something like that? With a pearloid pickguard and like a couple of humbuckers and a rosewood neck. They did a large headstock rosewood neck. That was a little out there. I don't think I was as crazy about that one. They've done a few, and I have the rosewood neck telly, and they did that in the surf green. What else? Can't think of the other one. What's up, Bobby? Make sure I get this a little bit. Oh, I think that's getting a little loose. I gotta tighten that up. So, yeah, what year is this? This, I want to say 2015? So I got the Rosewood neck telly in 2016. And at the same time that was out, they had the Sunburst, I want to say. And I was looking online, and this came up in Guitar Center used. And I saw it was the Hot Rod Red, and I knew about the Hot Rod Red, and I was like, oh, that's the one I like. I like the Hot Rod Red. You know who else has this? And I think he would readily tell you that it was because of this exact guitar. Phil McKnight, he sent me a text saying, I just want to let you know that you are directly responsible for me buying one of those Hot Rod Red Fenders. He goes, I just love the color of that rosewood neck with the red body. He goes, it's a sharp combo there, kid. Although he didn't say it quite like that. I'm responsible for you buying one too, Gary. It happens. It happens. What I do to my arm, those are tone scratches. All right, that's my secret. Red looks a lot like the Ibanez Muscle Car Red. I don't think so. I've actually seen both in person. And this is, I think, a little more red. It's hard to explain, but I almost feel like the other one has a tiny bit more of a white hue to it, right? So it combined with the red. It's not that it's lighter in color. It's just it's hard to explain. And I feel like it has a touch more blue in it. It's a little bit more on the bluer side. I mean, trust me, it's red, but you can almost see a tiny blue tint to the red a little bit on the Ibanez. They had one of those at GitCon 1, GitCon 2, GitCon 1, I think. Hot Rod Red, not Dakota. See, there's my computer. There's humbucking mode. There's the computer. There's humbucking mode. There's the computer. A good sounding guitar. I forgot about this one. Not really. Just it's in the way back, way up on a shelf, so it doesn't get wet in case it floods down there. I like this one. It's got a twang. Thanks, Franz. Yeah, you wonder if you could get a you wonder if you could get a screen calibration camera and be able to like put it on something and get a Pantone match, right? Give you an idea what the makeup is. Probably the cheapest way to do it. You know what? Hold up 1 second. I just gotta fix something over here. I gotta get something on. Hold on. Rob. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off a sec. I'll be back in like 20 seconds. Okay, I'm back. I doubt you could hear, but I could hear something faintly beeping over there. And I knew what it was, and I just had to go shut it up. It was annoying. Now, all done, all set. There we go. I feel like I'm out a little bit. Yeah, the neck pops there, hot shot. It's got a pop to it. Hold on. I feel like I'm really making this noise here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I think with this, if you want it, I think it's a little tricky getting, rosewood is, I think, so oily, unlike maple, that I think it's a little bit of a trick to get a logo to stick to it. So it seems to me that without it being glossed over, right? So I think they just went with the laser etch because it was a lot easier to handle on a production level. I think later on they did some higher end models like the rarities that actually do have the logo, but they're lacquer, not poly, right? It's a different breed. And then most of the custom shop, if not all the custom shop, they do put the label on because people want it. But it's I think it's a little bit harder because of the nature of rosewood instead of maple. Oh yeah. Neck looks fast. It's a very comfy. This is a very comfy neck. This is a pretty small neck. Yeah. It's maybe one of the smaller necks. The Select is similar. I feel like the Telly might be a touch bigger, but maybe it isn't. I'm just dreaming it. Maybe it's the same size, you know. I don't know. Maybe I feel like this is a touch smaller. This is a straight up, like, small C. I don't think these were 1600. They might be now. But I want to say when these came out, I paid $9.99. I want to say they were $12.99 or $13.99, or they were like, I think more likely they were like $12.99, but you had to buy it with a case, so they're like $14.50. That sounds about right. Right, which is what I think I paid. That's exactly what I paid for the Telly. Brand new. Like $14.50. You had your choice of Strat or Telly. And with a case. It was priced with a case. Well, thanks, Thunder Falcon. Steve, have you played a Kramer the 84? I have not. If so, I'm thinking of getting the blue metallic one, but I've never tried the 84. Yeah, let me take a look at that one. That's a all right. Yeah, that's pretty much the right. The Beretta without the tilted pickup. Right. When I think of Beretta, I also think of the tilted pickup. And this is, the Beretta would also not be surface mounted. The Beretta, I think, was a pickup ring, if I remember correctly. Which one did you like? Blue metallic? Oh, yeah. Waka, waka, waka. It does look pretty good. And they got the headstock right. You know, sometimes you see the headstock, it doesn't look right. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I like the grain. Works good with that pickup. Look at that. It's a good look. With the maple. This is kind of like the one I tried to originally buy back in like 1984, except it had two humbuckers instead of one. But it was in pickup rings. But there was no pickguard. Yeah, the blue. Looking good. You like the white? All right, the Alpine white. So they make the Alpine white. They make a matte white. Right. I think I like the gloss. I don't remember any of them really being matte back then. I think that's just, I think they put one matte out to accommodate the newer player that's like, where's the gloss, brah? But back then it was all gloss. So there weren't a ton of matte finishes, if I remember correctly. You know, almost every guitar came glossy. That's a good look, though, huh? Hey, good looking guitar. Look at that thing. Jeez, if I only, you know, you just dream to own a red guitar. Someday I'll own a red one. I've noticed since COVID, guitar prices went up about 25%. Yeah, they definitely went up on the used market without a doubt, way up. But you know what? It's starting to level off. If anything, I might see it starting to drift back the other way a little bit. So I think, and you know, it really eventually, I think prices will certainly level off, and if anything, they might even go back down. Not for new. That's much slower, but I'm talking like the used market, which is much more nimble than the new market. I think the gloss 84 is the Alpine White. Right there. Right, yeah, you can see the gloss. Right. And then they have the matte. So I think white's the only one they have two different textures, gloss or matte. Nice. I forgot about this guitar. This is a nice guitar. You know, container ships are lined up 40-ish miles to California coast waiting to be unloaded. Yeah, right. There's been a huge backlog. Huge backlog. Paint it red for me. White guitars remind me of the Vinnie Moore Pepsi commercial era. I forget that. Did you see they came out with it's actually pretty clever. They came out with a paint that can reflect back a ridiculous amount of energy and actually give off infrared. So it can keep the surface cooler than the surrounding air, which should make for, a lot less electricity use. Be interesting to see how they implement it. But it's and plus it does the same thing that polar ice would do, which is reflect sunlight back up. Yeah, I think they said it was like equivalent to a 10,000 BTU air conditioner, right? So it's nice. I love something that's passive like that, right? You just have to paint it on. But I got to think it gets it loses its efficiency with pollen and dust, right? I mean, anyway, you can just look at a car that's been sitting and see how much it's covered in, I suppose the rain would wash quite a bit off, but only to a certain point, right? You would think it would lose its efficiency after so much, micro debris out there has landed on it. Yeah, it's like they had to add a certain, it was like beryllium or something, right? They added to the paint. And it's pretty cool. It's like a bit of a breakthrough, which is always good to hear. So I went through. I have a spreadsheet. Any guesses on what I've spent? This is only on guitars, and it's for my entire lifetime. A lifetime of guitars, and a lot of them I don't have. Right, I keep a spreadsheet. A lot of them are gone, like active guitars. So I'm still counting those. I'm not counting all the guitars I presently have. I'm counting like literally what I laid out, and I actually went back and looked through a few receipts to make sure I had the number entered with tax and shipping. So you could take guesses, like a lifetime of guitars. I think everybody's way over. Everybody, 70 grand? Wigga, please. I'm not even close to that. That's 150,000. God, you're insane. Now, should I remind you, my most expensive guitar I've ever spent is like $16.99? Put it in perspective. And remember, a lot of guitars have been given to me. That's a zero outlay. That gets entered into the spreadsheet as a zero. It's not what it's worth. It's literally what I've spent, right? That's different. Oh, we have somebody who is right on the money. Are we ready? The winner is... We'll get it ready. Ready? We have a winner. The winner is Tone Lives. Tone Lives has won with 36,000. Gary Davelin was close, but not quite there. It's actually, you had to be close without going over, and it's just a hair over $36,000. That's all of it. 100%. Everything. And then, if you take my, all my other gear, that's guitars. That's just guitars. That's just guitars, right? Again, that's not what I have presently. Oh, thanks. Oh, hold on. Something just went by. Jeffy, for your lifetime of guitars and future guitars fund. I like the way you think. These guitars, they don't buy themselves. So I also did a little spreadsheet on all my keyboards. And I also included my interfaces, like digital on that. And all the keyboards I have, everything combined, including anything I've sold, anything I have at all, everything combined was... Oh, you know what? Maybe we'll take some guesses. So, anyone want to guess what I've spent on keyboards completely and totally? It's probably a lower number than you're going to suspect because, although if I do a lifetime, now that I think about it, I have to throw one more keyboard on that a long time ago I paid a lot of money for. So it's a little higher. I'd have to calculate. Let me just quickly calculate that in my head. All right, I have the new number. We have a new number. It's not 2,000. It's not 21,000. It's not 18,000. It's not 44. And it's not 9,000. It's not 8,000. It's not 8,000. It's not 6. It's not 10,000. It's not $1 million. It's not $1.298. Though it could be. 20,000. Ooh, we have a winner. Are we ready? We're going to do the winner. Hold on, I'm not getting it good. Hold on. We have a winner. The winner is Pete Brown. The total is just a hair over $7,000. That's everything. Now, if you don't include the 1994, admittedly that's a long time ago. The 1994 keyboard that I bought, which was $2,500, that adds a lot, and then I had an expansion board in that, which was another $500, bringing me up to $3,000. I'd be around $4,000. It'd be a lot less, actually, with like more modern stuff I've picked up in the last, say, 5 years. So, that's a way more modest collection. I didn't look at amps, because I don't really have a ton of amps, and most of the amps I have were given to me. Like pretty much everything on this wall. Like every amp there. I don't think I bought any of those. The Rev, the Hughes and Kettner, the Panama, and certainly not the Orange, which is right there. If I could get out of the way. There. So, that's harder to count. You count inflation at all? Not really. Most of the things have been purchased pretty recently. If you look at what I spent on that keyboard in '94, that's like closer to like $4,000 in today's money than $3,000. It's like up a third. It's funny, when I got that, I had just moved in with my girlfriend, who is now my wife. And she's like, "Really, you're buying this keyboard?" I said, "I'll have it like forever." And then like all these years later, she's like, "You know what? You kind of did have it forever." I said, "I got 25 years of use out of it. The key bed's shot on it, though. It's out in the garage now." So stratty. The keyboard paid itself off many times over. Yeah, the keyboard I've had a long time. And, I'd say I got my use out of it. Without a doubt. But then you wonder, like today, if you buy one, like, would it ever last 25 years like that? That's a big metal chassis and wooden keys. It's like, I think it went the distance because it was built like a tank. The thing weighs like 55 pounds. Not exactly the most portable keyboard. What's the best guitar you like? I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it's like saying what's the best food you like, It's like, it depends on your mood. It's hard to pick one. Though I tend to like guitars that have a master volume. I'm finding that out about myself. I don't like it when there's two volumes. The Kramer had two volumes. I made it back down to one, and I think I'm happier that way. Is the all rosewood neck darker than mahogany and rosewood fretboard? I don't know. You know, I think like anything, because I've seen some lighter ones. I think like anything, it's just a matter of, you know, the slab. But if I had to guess, it feels like the fretboard is really dark, but then when I look on the sides are really dark too. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just a dark slab. I've seen some lighter ones, for sure. The telly's lighter. Absolutely lighter. One volume, one tone. I can live with more than one tone, but I kind of do like the master volume. I don't like it when I go to another pickup and the pickup is louder. You know. Most of the gear that I've purchased over the years is worth pretty much what I paid for it at best, some exceptions, so not many. Guitars are not a particularly good investment. You never know what's going to hit with people. Things go in and out of style. Sometimes things crank up and then they're gone again. It's a pretty short list of what really turns into a pretty decent investment. Milkman pedal amp and a custom-made Jupiter speaker. The monster speaker cable. You think the speaker cable makes a difference? I'm not sold on that. Don't get me wrong, a crappy cable is crappy. But I think once you get to a certain level of, you know, good quality, I don't know if there's much improvement beyond that. At least one that we can hear. That's my collection about pedals. It's actually, it's big. You know, the more I think about it, I've got a few in there. I dumped a whole bunch like 5 years ago. I did a big purge and sold them to Flipside Music for really short money. He was stoked. Harmonics. Yeah, what's the most you've ever spent on gear? I think the most I've ever spent is, well, I guess it was probably the keyboard, now that I think about it, at $24.99 in 1994. That was a lot of money. I don't think I've ever come to a purchase close. But for guitars, the winner is still the Larrivee. I think it's $16.99 because with tax, it was close to $1,700. I mean, close to $1,800. Do I still have the GT1000? I do. I do. In fact, I should check and I wonder if they've done a. They do updates. Actually, I gotta do. I think. And then multi effects. And then right there. Yeah, and then go right there. Well, they're making me click here. They're making me click. Okay, so the last update was March of 2020. Oh, all right, okay. We'll keep an eye on it. I do like regular updates. Take a page from Fractal Audio or Kemper, right? Regular updates always keep people happy. Ever hear of Bellcat? I have heard of Bellcat. I think they make amps, right? Like little affordable amps, I think. I think I've seen them at NAMM. Now that you mention that, Bellcat. But I don't know if now that I think about it, I don't know if they were the Bellcat dealer or if they just happen to have a Bellcat amp there to demonstrate some other product, you know. Do I know any Stevie Ray Vaughan riffs? I probably know a couple. Or is it an E? Yeah, so it's an E. That's a little stiff. Yeah, mine now. Yeah. Where's it? Yeah, E, dominant 7, right. What's up, Aljon? Yeah, you think the computer's annoying? That's a single coil. Do you have hot rails? Well, not in the guitar right now, no. No, those are single coils. Yeah, it's a single coil. That's a clock. Move the mouse around a little bit. jamming with my computer. Could be the fans. I think it's the actual processor. We're 60 hertz around here. Let's just say that, there might be some parts in that computer that, barely passed FCC approval. It's got all the latest stuff. I could go to the Yami. Oh, I got the SG nearby. I have another Strat with single coil pickups. If you're feeling brave, oi. Yeah, that will be the beginning of my new tune. We got one guy saying SG. An odd ringing sound around the headstock of your guitar. It could be the strings. Try putting just a piece of masking tape on the strings, and if that kills it, you might need to put a piece of foam under it. Yeah, the Epi Les Paul White LP Custom. That's actually close. It's that one's actually pretty close. I can do that. That I can do. It's actually easier than the SG. Sorry, SG. I have to turn around and take out of a bag. This, I just have to reach my arm up and pull off a wall. A little easier. Oop. Just gotta make sure that is on there. Don't want to lose that. But I will, before I play it, go to my tuner and check my tuning, because it's been on the wall and it's most likely out of tune. In fact, it's very equally out of tune. That's pretty common for out of tune guitars that you haven't played. All strings are equally out. Oh, I have a little piece of foam there or something. These tuners are pretty. Are those Grovers? I think they are Grovers. They're pretty smooth. And that one's a little high. A little low, a little high. Welcome to the tuning channel. All tuning all the time. Come on. All right there. Let's be accurate here. We want dead center. That feels a touch high. There we go. That's all good. Now we're talking. But I am way up on it. I gotta get back to me. There we go. Nice neck, right? Yeah, great sounding pickups. I think these are the Pro Burst? Pro Buckers? Pro Bursts? God, I'm so bad at this. I'm waking up Holland. Wake up, Holland, to the sweet, smooth sounds of America. I'm going to apologize right up front for that. Oh, God, that's good. That's good. Pro Buckers. Pro Bucker. There it is. Oh, it's my buddy. It's my buddy cat. He's my buddy cat. 'Cause he's my buddy cat. Buddy cat is a buddy cat. And he is my buddy cat. No, one cat tore up my arm. The cat who didn't want to get into the cat cage. It was like, yeah, I don't want to go to the vet. And we were like, you are going. And you will get your nails clipped. It's so funny because when they first get back from getting their nails trimmed, you know, they're always trying to jump up and they're falling up. They're like, oh my God, my claws are digging in like they were. The cat that scratched me is Henri. Yeah, well, we couldn't get her in a towel. I know to wrap him in a towel, but then I'd have to get a towel. I had her in my hands, and then she was in the cage, and that's what happened. You know, as soon as I had her in my arms, it's like, you are going. You are going. Yeah, it's ornery. Ornery. I call the big one Bitey. We did try the towel. We did have a towel. We had a blanket, a little blanket, you know, and we've tried it, and she was slipping out. My wife had her like 3 times, and she would slip out. She was a slippery fish, and I finally got her. And what you find is that if you get them by the back of the neck, like real hard, they're like, okay, they tend not to freak out. So they're like, okay, all right, Dad. You know, they sort of get the notion that, like, you know, you're on the move. Yeah, blow darts. Yeah, it's weird when you that on the back of their neck, that loose skin, is you see I had a doctor who always picked them up like that. And it's weird because they really do sort of see that it's a sort of an instinctual thing. Like, okay, I'm being picked up right now. When you try to grab them from the bottom, that's when they go crazy. But when they're just hanging and they got nothing to grab onto, there's really nothing they can. They don't really squirm. At least they don't really squirm. They seem to relax. God knows, I wish I could go see the Stones. Yeah, they just played not too far from here at Gillette Stadium in a small private venue. Bob Kraft had a private event, and he hired the Stones for the band. You wonder how much that cost. You know, I'd be curious. What do you think? What do the Rolling Stones cost to book a private show? Right? What do you think? 5 million, 10 million? I mean, what does it cost to book the Stones for a private show? And they erected an enormous tent, right? A big long tent out on the field. And it was their first show, I think, without Charlie. You see some video out there. They said there was about 150 people there. So imagine seeing the Stones with about 150 people. $100 billion. Think $1 million? Could be. Yeah, I gotta think Mick is getting paid $1 million. I gotta think Keith is getting paid $1 million, right? I gotta think that band is costing like $5 million to book. I don't think they're going out there. Plus all the transportation costs. You know, they have to sink all that to get them out there. I gotta think it's a couple mil, maybe even $5 million. In 1989. Right? In 1989. So, this, you know, it's a long time ago. 1989 for the Steel Wheels Tour. That tour was one of the first tours that was promoted by, what's his name there? Oh God, he had a record label. He had a production. He used to do Elvis. Oh, geez, I can't think of his name, but he had a movie studio, right? I mean, this guy, he had money. He was a promoter of movies, right? He paid the Stones I think it was $91 million, $90 million, something like that, just outright. It wasn't Geffen. It was. Oh, God, they did a documentary on him, too. I can't think of it. But, no, it's not Geffen. It's not Cole. It's not Geffen. It's, oh, my God, it's killing me now. It's killing me. It wasn't Cole. No. It was a guy who used to do, he did Elvis, right? He did a couple of Elvis tours with the Colonel at the very end. He paid them $90 million to do that, and he would take the house, and for that money, he would break even, right? In other words, for what that whole stadium tour in, right, would pay in at the house end, it was, no, none of those guys. You're all wrong. It's none of them. It's, oh my God, it's going to kill me. Let me think. I'm trying to think of another project he was associated with. Do. Let me see if I can find it. I can't think of his name. Oh, God, it's killing me. I know you're looking him up on Wikipedia, and it's saying this... Oh, God. Who was the guy who did... He did a couple of things with, believe it or not, Frank Sinatra. He did like television shows with Frank Sinatra. No, it's God, now this is killing me. It's like I think his first name was Jerry Weintraub. The correct answer is Jerry Weintraub. That's who it was. They did a documentary on it. Jerry Weintraub. He had done the, right, so Weintraub Films, right? He died recently. Jerry Weintraub, American film producer. He was the money behind that tour, as I understand it, as the documentary said. Jerry Weintraub. How's that? He was more of a... He had done stuff with Elvis. He had done stuff with Frank Sinatra. You know, I don't know how much he went on after this doing the promotions like that. I think he moved on to film. I think he earned enough money. He earned money. They did a thing on it, and he basically said he earned his money from... They broke even. He earned all his money from T-shirts. He had the exclusive vending rights. Right, he made all their money from programs and T-shirts and posters and all the you know, the stuff that you sell on the tour. And he actually, he produced all the Oceans films. He's a money guy. Jerry Weintraub. Yeah, Weintraub. Yeah, he passed away, I want to say, was it 2018? 2015. 2015. Yeah, so did they say in here what his, he was behind the candelabra. This guy. Ocean's 13, Ocean's 11, The Avengers. He was a producer, always a producer. Right, this guy's not a geezer. Right, the Karate Kid. You've known a little bit of his work. The original producer on the Karate Kid, Diner, John Denver. See, he used to do a lot of stuff. The Carpenters, Pat Boone. You know, this dude has been around forever. He was a producer on Cruising. Remember that movie? That was what's his name there? Al Pacino. Cruising. Yeah, the Dorothy Hamill special. An Evening with John Denver. Frank Sinatra, The Main Event. That's right. They did it in a boxing ring. Yeah, producer, very prolific. Yeah, Yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to find the documentary. They probably under Self. King of the Underdogs? A little self-serving if that's the one. Let me see if they say what the making of Candelabra. That's not it. It might have been His Way, right? But I feel like that's a docudrama and not really a documentary. I don't know. Anyway, that could be it. His Way. Geddy Lee's last name is Weintraub. Yeah, his real name is Gary Lee, right? It's his grandmother had a thick accent, so when she would call him Gary, she'd say Geddy, Geddy. And then when you hear it, you're like, oh right, that makes sense. Kind of a nice tribute. Yeah, sometimes it's a shock to hear Rockstars' real names. Yeah. Gordon Lipschitz. What? $1,000 this week alone on gear. Damn. What'd you get? Eddie Money was really Mahoney. That's pretty close, though. Yeah, then it's funny because like with Gene Simmons, you find out his real name was Gene Klein. Then you find out even that wasn't a real name. It was really Chaim Witz, right? In show business, names get changed. Because who did they fight with? Vinnie Vincent, right? They fought with him because he wanted to be like Cusano, and they're like, it's too ethnic. You're not gonna be Vinnie Cusano, whatever Corsano, whatever his last name was. They're like, no. Like Chris Kula, no, you're Peter Chris. Right? You make it a far easier name to say and spell. You don't want to be too, all right? My name is Apple Pie. Whatever it takes. Reading the Peter Criss book today. I've never read those books. I know so many people that have read all the Kiss books. I've never read them. And I read a lot of the internet, but I never really read a ton of books. no, Vinny was a bit of an idiot. Slash's book was good. Yeah, I've never read any of them. You know, if they're put out by the person themselves, they feel a little self-serving, and if they're put out by somebody else, you don't know if they really got the story. So it's kind of it's a hard, it's a hard area. Biographies, autobiographies. Yeah, that's the gist I get. The gist you get is that none of them seem to pretty much care for the other person. Like they all seem to kind of hate each other on some level. Even Gene and Paul. Keith Richards' book was amazing. Yeah, I would imagine. Oh, really, a Dio book. See, there's so many books out, God. I'm sure everybody has a book out, right? Yeah, the Motley Crue book. That was huge. Dirt was I think one of the better selling of the band books that ever came out, right? That one got a lot of attention. Dirt, yeah. And I think, didn't Nikki do a book, right? They all did. Everybody does one. Although I don't think Eddie Van Halen ever did a book. I don't think, did anyone in Van Halen ever do a book, like their own book? I don't think so. Someone might have done a book about them. But I don't know if they ever did their own book, like My Story. Did they? I don't know. If they did, I missed it. A VH book by Noel Monk should be read by all VH fans. Tremendous. Hagar put one out. Yeah, Dave's an open book. Yeah, is he though? I feel like Dave keeps a lot of his life pretty private. I'll leave it at that. Especially when you look at some of his interviews, he really sort of just controls his own narrative. He's pretty guarded. Yeah, see, that's why you can't put a book out, because now you got Sammy Hagar apologizing for a portion of Eddie's stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of times it doesn't, stay. It doesn't age well. Rat has one out from Percy. Oh my God. It's David Roth. He dropped the Lee. Is it really? Just David Roth. He was touring recently, and then I heard he got booted off the Kiss tour. And who knows what he's doing now. And to be honest, the last time I heard him with like this other new side band as an opening act, I think, doing a pretty short set, I thought he actually sounded okay. I was like, oh my God, he actually sounds like halfway decent, because he wasn't all trying to screech and scream and like, I don't know, maybe he figured it out, but maybe it was short-lived. Sammy was really rough on EVH, really rough. You don't want to hear that. we always had I think you'll all know who this is, but when I was in college, I had a college professor who told us of a story where he was down on Cape Cod. I think he was in the Cape Cod Canal, or maybe he was around Falmouth. I thought he said he was in the canal, and he sees a couple of guys on a small sailboat, and they're struggling a little bit, right? And they seem to be unable to really commandeer their vessel. And so he says to him, he goes, "Hey, everything all right?" He goes, "You guys need a hand?" And he said, "I'd be happy to tow you back to port." And they were like, he's like, "That'd be great. Like, really appreciated." So they hook up a rope, and he starts to slowly tow them back. And he's sort of driving the boat and looking back, and driving the boat and looking back. And finally he yells back, "Are you John Lennon?" And the guy yells back, "Yes, I am." Said, so when we finally got there, and we get, everything situated and everything, he says, "I'm sorry, but I got to get an autograph." He's like, "Absolutely." And he wrote a note. He had a photocopy that he had a copy for everybody in the class. He had a note, which absolutely was John Lennon. I mean, and he was like, "Thank you so much for your help today. You were there when we needed you most," something like that. "Love always, John Lennon." And then he drew the caricature of his face. Absolutely 100% John Lennon. There's no doubt about it. But he said there was a second man. He said, and it's very rude when you're talking to someone famous to turn to the person next to him and say, "Are you famous too?" So he never really knew who the second man was. This is the description. A little shorter, stockier, with blonde thinning hair, a gap in his front teeth, and he was wearing red sunglasses in the shape of stars. I think, I think you will figure it out. I think we'll have a good guess on that one. But he never really got it confirmed. This is like 1974 or 75, roughly. I think it might have been 74. And he dated it. He dated the note. I'm trying to remember. It was 74 or 75. It had to be. Who was it other than Elton John? I mean, Jesus. Because we were hearing the description. Everyone in the class going, "Elton, it's Elton." He goes, "That's what other people have said too." It's like, I always wanted to ask Elton, was that you? Was that you that day on that boat with John Lennon, struggling in the water, and you needed to be towed back to port? I think Janis Joplin wasn't alive in 1974. That could be a little tricky show. Found a guy hitchhiking, turned out to be Bob Seger. There you go. Did you recognize him? Did you say, "Oh my God, are you Bob Seger?" It was you on the boat, damn it. I remember when Bob Seger, he was so huge in the 70s. God, Bob Seger was just so massive in the 70s. Just hit after hit, Night Moves and Like a Rock, and just so many songs. And I remember seeing something on him maybe 15 or 20 years ago where he basically, it might have been about 15 years ago, right? He did a tour, right? He did a comeback. Was that about 15 years ago or so? And he like 2005, 2006 maybe, he did a comeback tour, and he basically said he had to do it to prove to his kids that he actually was famous once. They didn't believe him. They were like, yeah, Main Street. He had one big, what was his last huge album? I want to say it was 77 or 78. It was after Night Moves. I forget it now. Was it Main Street? It might have been. I forget the album titles. Exactly, kids don't believe the stories. There's another great story of Joan Baez. So, Joan Baez is pretty freaking famous. And, but her like granddaughter didn't, she's like, yeah, I'm sure you were famous. So she gets the granddaughter tickets to see Taylor Swift. And they're like front row tickets or close to it. And that wasn't enough to convince them that she had some pull in the industry. But I guess before the show ended, somebody came up to them and said, Taylor would like to meet you. And the grandkids were like, what? She's like, I'm telling you, I'm freaking famous. Yeah, Like a Rock was 86, but he had one, well, might have been Against the Wind, 1980. That sounds about right. That was huge. Against the Wind. Yeah. That might have been the one. Because Hollywood Nights, I feel, was more like 77. Even maybe 76, 77, around there. And yeah, I'm trying to think of the timing on that. Boy, kind of a blur. Did Bob Seger do the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack? Oh my God. Maybe was that Bob Seger? No. Yeah, Points on Her Own. Sitting way up high. Way up from the night moves. Yeah. Oh, Stranger in Town. That was it. Stranger in Town. What year was that, Krellbar? I feel like that was it 76, 78? Baby. Yeah, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Yeah, that was it. Stranger in Town. 78, that was it. Hollywood Nights, still the same. Old time rock and roll. Feel Like a Number. Oh my God. Yeah. We've Got Tonight, the ballad. We've got tonight. Yeah, Drew Abbott on guitar. Interesting. Muscle Shoals rhythm section, Silver Bullet Band. Wow, so he's had a few different people. Pretty big production. He's got quite a few musicians on this album. Yeah, Love Gun. Yeah, that was 77. That was a good year for music, 77. What's up, Andrew? Yeah, we figured out my number, Andrew. For guitars, it was $36,000. Again, that's not everything I have now. That's what I've spent over the years. A lot of them are sold. And then for other gear, I think I was around $4,000. 7 if you count the expensive keyboard. If we got to throw that one on the pile too. Her Strut, yeah, that was another big one, man. Yeah, Night Moves was 76. What's on Night Moves? Rock and Roll Never Forgets, Night Moves, and Main Street. Again, that's 3 pretty big freaking tunes. And then Against the Wind, Horizontal Bop, You'll Accompany Me, Her Strut, yeah, Against the Wind. I know they had some big songs. And then what's after that? 9 Tonight. Yeah, 9 Tonight. Is that live? Yeah, live album. And what's after that? The Distance. Even Now. Shame on the... Yeah, see, you start to lose me a little bit. I don't recognize them as much. And then Like a Rock comes out in 86. And quite frankly, that's probably earned him more money because he sold it to, is it Chevy? You know, he's getting paid. Getting paid. Yeah, and then the B-side of the single was Kathmandu Live. Remember that? Going to Kathmandu. Yeah, Chevy. He sang Like a Rock, but Fords have always been more solid structurally, last longer. Oh, snap. Look at you clapping back. Yeah, Krellbar, it's getting that time of year. We gotta be thinking about a Halloween episode. Yeah, I don't even want to know what Tone King has spent on gear. $100 billion. Found on Road Dead or Fastest on Race Day? long as you don't have a big speaking role. You have the big speech at the end. You know, I think we learned something here today. Live Bullet was recorded in Detroit. He's from Detroit, right? Isn't Bob Seger a Detroit guy? I thought he was. Art always repaired temporarily. God. ART units, man, we had them. We were an art dealer. Those things were so bizarre. You deliver the Shakespeare soliloquy and the Jason mask, and then we just, if you're wearing the mask, we're just gonna voice it in any way, right? We'll bring in a voice actor, just like they did with Darth Vader. If I had to pick a tube amp, what would it be? That's a good question. You know, I've never owned a Mesa Boogie. Yeah, maybe want to try one of those. I don't think I've ever owned an expensive Marshall. I think I had a cheap solid state one. You know, I usually went through effects into a stereo rig. My rig used to be two Fender, I think they were called Super 60s racks, and a rack head. And so I would run into a preamp and then into a stereo effects unit and run left and right out into my stereo rack head. It's all the rage in 1992. You know? Is this a dagger I see before my eyes? Exactly. Yeah, the Friedman was good. Friedman BE100. I played one of those at 42 Gear Street. Those sound killer. You know. I tell you, I'm getting hungry for some dinner. Really haven't eaten much today, and it's catching up to me. I've had like 7 cups of coffee, but not a lot of food. I think I had a small little like finger sandwich earlier. FX racks were popular in the 80s, or the late 80s. What year did the GP8 come out? That really kind of kicked it off. I mean, sure, you had the SPX90, but what were you going to run into it? You still ran an amp. I don't really remember full-on preamps like the 80 AMP1 or the Roland GP8 until really like 86, 87, really 88, you know. And then the Boss ME5 came in, but that was a floor unit. They were in the ME5 for years. Into 2 like, I think Princeton's. Is a 1985 Kramer Beretta and Candy Apple Red worth $4,300? No, it's not. Definitely is not. That's not a particularly sought after year. He's going to try and tell you that it is, but it's not. Not 85. Absolutely not. Tea party cucumber sandwiches, yeah. A wee little. Which, trust me, I was starving at the time. It hit the spot, but didn't last long. Had the Roland GP16 PV Rockmaster preamp. Yeah, you'd go in. A lot of people were going into the Boogie made a stereo. PV made a stereo. I want to say even Marshall made a stereo amp. Everybody did. What time is the U Up show start? If I do it, usually after like 1 o'clock in the morning. Usually around 1 a.m., 12:30, 1 a.m. If I'm up. Best amp you ever owned was a PV-JSX. Yeah, right. The Joe Satriani. I'm sure that was a great amp. And then they make the Marshall. He wound up going to Marshall, right? And they did what? Was it the 420? 440? Forget now. Any 20 watt or solid state amp is loud. Pretty much 20 is a pretty good loudness. You can cover a lot of ground with 20 watts, especially tube 20 watts, without a doubt. 410H, that was it, yeah. Maybe I'll be up after 7 cups of coffee. Maybe two more cups. That might do it. Sometimes you can catch the late show around 9 p.m. in Hawaii. That's right. Wow, yeah, because you're 3 and then what? What are you, 6 hours? What time is it there for you? Is it 2:30 p.m. for you? Right now? Satriani always improves the 30 channel on existing amps, but he never uses them. Yeah, Satriani, he always was endorsing brands, and then he seemed to always use a Marshall. I feel like when he was endorsing PV, you would still see him on stage with a Marshall. 225 in Hawaii. There you go, 236. So yeah, you're 12 hours apart, right? In Hawaii, it's 2 in the afternoon, and in Germany, it's 2 in the morning. Yeah. What kind of coffee do I drink? French roast, the Starbucks French roast. Colombian's a little too light for me. Not crazy about Colombian. It's a little too weak. That new orange Super Crush sounds good and a good price. Yeah, it's a solid state head, right? Orange's new solid state head. 2:36 p.m., not a.m. Come on. Yeah, well, one guy, Strat Tom, I think he's in Germany. That would be a.m. And if somebody's in Hawaii, that would be p.m. in the other direction. It's 8:37 p.m. here. Yeah, the DSL-40 is pretty good. I've always been interested in the DSL-40. I always thought that was a good sounding amp. It's got digital effects too, right? What's up, Manfred? What's up, Black Shoe Bear? Do we need another guitar change? Have I tried the Sumatra? I think you mean Sumatran or Sumatra. Yeah, but we get all our coffee from Costco. When you try to buy it other places, it's too expensive. Costco, you get a really good deal on coffee. But they went from having all these different blends to basically having one, or two. It's like Colombian or the Starbucks, and that's about it. Really hate it. I used to like to really mix it up, We would get the Rwandan, they'd have the Costa Rican, they'd have the Sumatran. They used to have all these different ones, and nothing. All gone. Play guitar I haven't played in a long time. What haven't I played in a long time? Yeah, let me think about this. Hold on. Nobody got it right. I am seeing a lot of very wrong guesses here. So, that's right. That's not the right. That's what happens when you don't have a head start. Yeah, I haven't played this in a while. This is a nice little guitar. Forgot about this one. I forgot about this one. Right there. Steinberger. Right there. A fun little guitar. Hello. You have the Spirit with the full body. Yeah, right. With the wings. Sure. That's a good one. Yeah, so some people, I saw someone say something about the GoPro. It's funny how people, you can see all the negatives from people who went out, because you know what happens when people buy something. They run out to look at videos about it. And then when they see my video and I'm like not so, positive about it, they're like, why are you raining on my parade? I just bought one. But I actually haven't sent it back yet because I've been busy. And the thing is that you have 30 days to start the return. But once you start the return, you've got to get it in transit like very quickly. So I didn't want to start the return until I was able to drive it over and get it back to UPS, which is actually another town over. We don't have a UPS in our town. So what's so funny is like so many people are like, why do you buy one year after year? What difference does it make? And I can answer that pretty easily. Feature creep. That's pretty much it. If you buy the 7 and you're like, okay, I want 4K 60, and they're like, you can get 4K 60, but not with hypersmooth. It's like, okay, but if you do turn hypersmooth on, then it goes, you can't have it in linear mode. It's got to be in wide mode, and everything's like barrel shaped. The next year, you can have hypersmooth and 4K 60, and you get the linear. It's like they feature creep every year, one little thing. The next year they solve that one little problem. You're like, oh, I wish it just did 2.7K and 120 frames a second with a little bit of stabilization, but they don't. They turn the stabilization off once you go to so many frames. What do you know? The next year, some basic stabilization shows up. It's like they literally, and remember, it's the same processor, right? They only recently in this newest model changed the processor. So that was just, sort of handing out each year. We know it's capable of doing this, but each year we hand out the features like one by one until that product cycle is over. And then we move to our new chip. And then that's probably a lot more powerful than it's being set to right now. And then again, it will sort of feature creep. Maybe they can add, I don't know, more RAM to help it go like better buffering or whatever, so you can get more recording. Who knows? But Mostly it's just centered around that chip. So the reason why you buy one year after year is because they dole out the features very slowly. It's literally that simple. And then someone else, there was another thing someone was saying, like, I can't believe like you're returning it over $50. It's like, well, why don't you send me 50 and we'll call it even? I'll keep it. Yeah, see, it's easy 50 when it's my 50. When it's your 50, it's like, oh well, not my 50. I'm not paying you to keep a. Yeah, see, that's how it goes. There's an old saying, it's not the principle, it's the money. And then it's funny because I have a few comments in there that they were like, I had no idea I was paying too much, and they were like, I paid $450. I'm like, yeah, that's like $50 more than someone who didn't buy into last year. They're like marking you up. They're like, log in for your special price. Spoiler alert, your special price is more than if you didn't have that plan. Again, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I was expecting too much. There was one other thing that someone said, and I was like, I forget, but the bottom line is that if they want somebody, just give your best price. Nothing irks me more than knowing I paid more than I could have. And it's like, I don't want to jump through hoops to have to pay it. So, and quite frankly, I'm seeing a lot of people out there say that the thing has an overheating problem. I never cracked the plastic on mine. It's still completely sealed up. So, they can get it back. Oh, I know what it was. They're like, if your camera's so good, why are you using a GoPro? I can answer that in a word. Weight. My camera is actually got a little bit of weight compared to the GoPro. The GoPro is a pretty light camera. And remember, with this, I can't just hold it like I can hold the GoPro. I have to put it in a gimbal. And the gimbal is pretty heavy. It's holds a big lithium-ion battery. It's got 3 servo motors on it. That adds a lot more weight with the gimbal. And so if you're walking around a trade show and you're holding a phone on a gimbal, your arm wears out a lot faster than a GoPro on a little plastic stick, right? It's like literally a half or maybe even a third of the weight. So for people asking why, that's why. Weight. And the funny thing about the feature creep is that you were always 1 year away from the feature you wanted most. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't put this in there. I guess I can't do it at this. It's like, okay, I want to use, you have this new frame rate. Okay, let me do it. Let me set it to linear mode. And they're like, no, actually, that's not available in that mode. It's like, oh man. And of course, like the next year it would be. It was always like one little thing, like holding it back from the prior year. And then the other thing that was really bad, and I can't stress this enough, is that GoPro pretty much, I think up until very recently, and I don't even know that it has really changed much, used to really, really false advertise the image that was going to come out of that camera, right? You would see these images. When I bought my Hero 3, it was the most disappointing buy I've ever had in my life. That camera, it took 4 more years before I would even trust them again. That camera was ridiculously expensive, had a webcam quality image on it. My friggin' Samsung Note 3 smoked it for video quality. It wasn't even close. Everything about it was just garbage. They would show these images that were like so amazing, but that was all professionally color graded. Who even knows what kind of mods they made to camera to get raw data out of the camera so that they can color grade it like perfectly. And they obviously had it on a gimbal. It's like they're riding on a motorcycle and it's friggin' so smooth. Clearly they had that thing in a gimbal, but they don't tell you that. And so you get your camera and you're walking and the image is all over the place and it's all blown out. And I'm like, oh my God, this thing, I remember putting it on my car dashboard and looking at the footage later and saying, this is garbage. This is just terrible. So the next time I was willing to take a chance was the Hero 7. And even that, in fact, Shane from In the Blues, he's my witness on this. We were at GitCon. I just bought the Hero 7. It showed up the Friday before GitCon. I left for Germany Saturday. So it shows up on Friday, pack it up. I'm like, great, I got my new Hero 7, right? This is the first time in 4 years since I bought one. I'm going to take that with me to Germany for GitCon 2. The day is over. We're down in the music hall, right? And we're having dinner. And when the food is done, you sort of sit around and do a little bit of round tabling. And then when that's over, there's the band. And I think it was I had gone through and shot some footage of the catering, right? With the camera. And I could have sworn I had turned it off. I put it in my pocket, cut to we're at the end of our meal and they're kind of round tabling up there. And I go, oh my God, I reach in, I pull out my camera and it is so friggin' hot to the touch. I open the side really quick and I pull the battery out to let it, cool off. And I go, Shane, check that out. And he goes, oh my God, he could not believe it. I go, can you feel the heat coming on? He goes, I'm surprised it didn't melt. I said, it's stunning, like the amount of heat that came out of this thing. And so I let it there and I let it cool down and it seemed to be fine. But that camera used to lock up and lock up and lock up. And I remember taking it to the NAMM show that January. And that camera kept locking up and I was going, oh my God, I'm going to kill this thing. And the next week after I got back from the NAMM show, they put out a firmware update, fixes random lockups. And I'm like, you can't even be serious. The second I got back from my trip, they put out a firmware update that did fix it from locking up all the time. It was just the worst. Just the friggin' worst. So that was one of the reasons why I got the 8. I was like, it can't be any worse than the 7. I know, I'm lucky it didn't explode. I think it had a safety that turned itself off and it recorded basically 15 or 20 minutes of black pocket, right, in 4K. No, the freezing just wasn't you. It wasn't. That thing would freeze up like crazy. I was like, oh my God. And it just brought back all the flood of memories why I hated GoPro. But they did fix it. They fixed a lot of the problems with, in fact, they had a couple of updates for that camera. And the camera did improve. It got better and better and more stable, right? Because let's face it, there's a release date. That release date is the release date. As long as there's no showstoppers, that camera is going out. And they'll fix everything else later. I think the best alternative to the GoPro is probably the DJI Osmo. That seemed to be pretty good. And a phone, right? If you have a really good phone. This thing can shoot 8K video, but it can do 4K video unlimited, only limited by the size of the card. And it has a separate card in it. I have a 128 gig card in addition to 128 gigs of storage. And it has full stabilization, both electronic and optical. So, they've come a long way. And the electric, because it's an 8K sensor, it has a lot of room to move around for a stabilization. So it really does work quite well. Throw it in a gimbal and it's even more solid than the GoPro. But again, it's heavy. It's much heavier to walk around with a gimbal and a phone in it than it is to walk around with a GoPro Hero 9 on a small little paddle, those little plastic tripods that split out. You know what I'm saying. I don't think they tell me the milliseconds of the delay. Do they? Time? 577. 577 milliseconds. But don't forget, it's also got a spread going on. So, what's the spread? Do they give it to you in milliseconds? 84 milliseconds of spread. Yeah, we got to get Strat Tom to bed here. It's 9 p.m., which means it's 3 a.m. for him. He's up late. So, anyway, GoPro sucks. I think we can all agree on that. That's what's important, that we all agree that GoPro sucks. Thanks for hanging out tonight. It was a little mellow tonight. It's been a busy day. I got a big HP computer over here. I've been redoing for my mom because, quite frankly, she locked herself out of it, and once you're locked out, then pretty much you have to reinstall the operating system because there's no hacking your way back in. It's pretty much impossible. So that's like 99% done. Super thanks to anyone who hung out. Super extra mega thanks to anyone contributed. Really appreciate it. And of course, mega shout out to me Mod Squad. #Mod Squad. And I'll see you guys in a week. And there you go. I don't think someone might be home. I don't know that anybody's home. They have the band, right? Marching band. So there's something big going on out in Worcester. So they'll be back at some point. All right, dudes. There you go. Thanks so much for hanging out. And I'll see you in a week. And there you have it. GoPro sucks. All right. Have a good one. Later.